Next we have the P. Remember, above the line, rest the tool on the line, come down, back up through the stroke and down and back on itself. Or 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5 and 6. So now we can go little flick, out, down. Or we can have a little flick, we can come all the way down, do that curl serif, which looks like a fish tail. And so we have various shapes that we can produce here. So we've come from the top rather than from the left side, we've come from the right side. So we can also do pulling and twisting, or we can do higher than the line, straight down, add a curl, and out this way. Q, we saw with the Q, it was basically this with this. Obviously now we can add a curl, or we can take the curl right up to the top of the Q and out, or we can curl the Q under itself like a G, but come back from the right, the left to the right and up and out. Again, we can change the top of the Q like any of the A shapes to coming down and back on itself, and we can add a little stroke like we have in some of the Gothic scripts. R, this is where the letter becomes interesting, because you now have to think, how is this letter going to be used in the context of writing? So the problem with an R is you have all this space underneath it. I sometimes do this so that I can fit a letter underneath it. But you can make the R shorter by making the curl over the top a little bit to the right, a little bit shorter. Or you can go all the way up and over. You just need to be careful with the space under here. So what I've done there is I've gone up on the edge of the nib, gone across and tilted onto the right corner and pulled that out. Obviously, that can become a really decorative element. You can do a little curl right there. S, with the S, we want to go back on itself. So we go 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Now there are a number of variations that you can use here, and I know it's just a simple looking letter, but you can come up and over and down and back and under and around and back. As you can see, this looks much heavier and much more formal. You can open the top, and notice I'm not at the angle, I've actually flattened at that angle. So the S looks more open and generous. You could even flatten the whole thing like so. There are other alternates. For instance, we could come over and pull and come back on ourselves and flatten that shape completely, so we have a lot more space here, balancing that space there. You can even get away with this kind of S. But once we start doing this kind of swinging curl, you have to also extend that into the other letters. T, just above the line, down, back on itself, under the line. So notice I've done this, like a little tilde, a little curl in the stroke. T, we can go taller and down and curve and out and up. and you can come across and twist. You could make the T a little bit taller, but by making it taller and curving it, notice I curved the stroke and I've curved this stroke. So we have a curve on the outside and a curve on the underside. So it gives us a really nice sort of opening shape like a flower. U, up, down, out, up, and straight back down and back on yourself. So it's essentially an upside down N, or basically what we'd see in the minim. So this is the minim height, this baseline X height. We see in the part of the Y and the H. So you can do a number of manipulations with the U. We can start flatter, twist the pen, come up, come down, and twist again, so that these two shapes are basically in line with each other. That kind of twisting and turning, this kind of pen manipulation is really fascinating, but it can sometimes interfere with the rhythm of the script. So you can come down and around and back as opposed to a vertical stroke.